Hello, Evanston. How's it going? It's good to be with you. I'm a former Wildcat myself. I lived for several years over there on Hinman and Davis. Go Cats. The people, not the institution. Please divest from fossil fuels and war profiteering, and also give the students care, not cops. Moving on from that, my name is Newell. I write and direct live performance. I share and teach Torah study in radical Jewish community spaces, and I organize with the Sunrise Movement's Chicago chapter for environmental justice. I'm so happy to be with you today. Something that is on my mind often, but especially right now as we reach the end of the Jewish high holidays with the conclusion of Sukkot this evening at sundown, is the theme of repentance. I was born and raised on the land of the Dakota people and the Anishinaabe people. I remember going to synagogue with my mother right on the Mississippi River. She grew up working class in a household about 5 blocks away from where I was raised. And I'd listen to the liturgies on high holidays, and I would hear this mandate of repentance. The images of people lightly beating their chest in atonement. And I think something about the dogma of Western organized religion has perhaps given a bad rep to these ideas of atonement and repentance. We might hear those words and project repressive self-punishment, penance. Even I did this as a kid. And then I wonder, where did I receive those messages from? Was it at home? Was it in my community? Was it all around me? Was it the media, the culture that I absorbed? Teshuvah is the word that we use in Hebrew for the act of repentance. And in becoming an adult, I learned something about that word that I didn't know growing up. Teshuvah comes from the root return or turning. These are not words of self-punishment. These are words of the process of repairing harm that we have caused one another, ourselves, and our planet. In Judaism, we are each other as well as the world. The oneness of these things is why teshuvah is necessary when we do harm. It's not punishment, it's repair. And there's something noteworthy about this idea that the act of repentance is about returning. It acknowledges that the phenomenon that we as human beings make the same mistakes over and over. We naturally return to moments of choice where these mistakes can be made. Is it a higher power? Is it human nature? Is it a karmic process or some other cosmology? That's up to any one of us, and also none of us at all. But when you think about harm, you can think big and small. People can perpetuate cycles of harm onto each other, onto ourselves. We can also perpetuate cycles of harm onto entire peoples and planets. I don't need to connect for you where I'm going with this. I think plenty of folks have said it better than I can. But in thinking about these moments of return and these choices that we make, I have a question. What are the ways in which we've allowed one another, just as much as we've allowed ourselves, to breeze through these moments of choice, to make these same mistakes over and over again, to perpetuate the narrative that it's agreeable and polite to keep to ourselves and not hold one another accountable to repairing the harm we've been a party to? Quite the contrary. It's not polite or agreeable. It's an act of violence to not do so. And to hold people accountable is an act of love. So people can talk about truth and reconciliation as a 2-step process, as a vacuum of naming the harm that's been caused and then following it up with an initiative or a campaign and then moving on. But what happens when we move on? We make the same mistake again. And we're better than this. We're more loving than this. We are more powerful than this. So how do we stop ourselves from making that mistake? We stick with movements. We take deep breaths. We bring each other along for the ride, even and especially when it's uncomfortable. We exercise self-compassion because it's the only way we're going to outlive the structures that put us in this untenable position to begin with. So I want to just end today by saying that this is why I joined the Sunrise Movement. It's why I stand in ongoing solidarity with all peoples who are affected by lines 3 and 5. I want to echo all the things my movement sister Tessine said. I'm really happy to be here with her. I think it's really important that we tell all of the powers we hold to account, large and small, where where we stand on this issue. You know, it may start at these pipelines, it may start with federal treaty rights not recognized, but then it comes to a head in city council meetings and in neighborhoods. So every single aspect of this matters, and it's important that we organize and tell people where we stand. If you're interested and if you are a resident of the city of Chicago, please come and join us on October 22nd at the Sunrise Movement. We're doing a city budget training at the Branch Hall Library. It'll be from 1 to 4 p.m. We're getting ready to launch a campaign all around our different resources and our demands for the city next year in the municipal election that's coming up. Yeah, divest your money from fossil fuels also. And thank you for being here, everybody. Go make some art and have some joy.